Hey, you think I don't know about YouTube? Well, I do. With today's story, you'll laugh, you'll learn, and you'll remember where you come from and recognize where you are going. The elders say, what the old sees while sitting, a young cannot see even from the top of a tree. So come now, listen well and let the story speak to your spirit.
The sun descended toward the western horizon, its fading light spreading like molten gold across the vast African savanna. The dry wind swept over the plains, stirring the tall grasses and carrying with it the distant calls of creatures preparing for the oncoming night. In the center of this endless wilderness stood a colossal baobab tree, so wide in girth that even a circle of elephants holding trunk to tail could not encircle it. Its branches stretched upward like the arms of an ancient ancestor in prayer, reaching for the heavens. The baobab was more than a tree. It was older than rivers, older than the hills, and to the animals of the land, it was a sacred being. From its bark came rope. From its fruit came sustenance. From its shade came relief from the punishing sun. Yet beneath its blessings lay fear, for the baobab was also keeper of secrets, a dwelling of ancient sisters and mysteries not meant for the ordinary. Among the animals that roamed this land was the tortoise, small, round, and slow-moving, with a shell patterned like the cracked earth after a drought. Tortoise lacked the strength of elephant, the ferocity of lion, and the speed of antelope. Yet what he lacked in power, he more than compensated for in patience, cunning, and thoughtfulness. Many seasons had passed with Tortoise outliving dangers through careful wit, while others relied on brute force.
One evening, as the animals gathered beneath the baobab near a shrinking pool, disputes erupted among them. Pride swelled in the hearts of the strong and the swift, and each boasted of their own superiority. Lion claimed dominion through strength. Elephant asserted her worth through wisdom and memory, and hyena prized survival through cunning scavenging. The air grew heavy with their bickering, and the circle of animals became restless under the great tree's silent watch. In the midst of this clamor, the tortoise conceived the challenge that would silence the arguments. His idea spread among the gathering. The baobab itself would decide who deserved honor, for it was the oldest witness of the land. The task was simple to propose, but near impossible to achieve. Any creature who could climb the sacred tree and take a leaf from its highest branches would earn the right to be honored above all others. The idea stirred them, for the baobab's trunk was smooth and impossibly tall, its branches rising far above the reach of even the most agile. The following morning, the contest began beneath the shadow of the mighty tree. Lion leapt first, digging his claws into the bark, but the trunk yielded nothing. His great body slipped and fell, leaving dust and humiliation in his wake. Elephant followed, attempting to shake the tree with her strength and pry at its back with her tusks. Yet the baobab stood unmoved, unshaken by her power. Monkey leapt and scrambled, but the lowest branches were far beyond his grasp. Hyena clawed and bit, leaving nothing but faint scratches that disappeared into the ancient bark.
All failed. Only Tortoise remained. The gathering mocked his small legs, heavy shell, and seeming uselessness. Yet, rather than attempt the impossible in vain, Tortoise withdrew, disappearing into the tall grass, saying only that he needed time. For 7 days he was unseen, and rumors spread that he had abandoned the challenge in shame. But on the 8th day, Tortoise returned, calm and composed, without tools or companions. He approached the Baobab, stood silently before its vast trunk, and then bowed low. What followed was unlike anything the others had seen. The air shifted, the wind changed its song, and a groaning sound like the breath of the earth rose from the Baobab. Slowly, impossibly, one of its great branches bent downward until a single fresh green leaf hung within reach. Tortoise stepped forward and took the leaf gently, placing it before the gathering. Then the branch lifted, returning to the heavens. The animals were stunned into silence. None had expected the tree to respond, and none could deny what they had seen. Yet suspicion crept among them. Hyena, filled with malice, whispered of trickery, claiming Tortoise had hidden the leaf or bewitched the tree. Jealousy festered in Lion's heart, wounded by the sight of the mighty humbled before the smallest. Elephant, though wise, wrestled with the sting of her own failure.
That night, Hyena returned alone to the Baobab. He tried to coax the tree with sly words, demanding that it lower its branch for him as it had for Tortoise. But the Baobab remained silent. He clawed and bit in frustration, circling the roots and howling his fury, but the tree did not respond. Envy hardened within him, and he swore vengeance against Tortoise. As days passed, word of Tortoise's triumph spread across the plains. Animals traveled from distant places to see him and hear the tale of how the Baobab had yielded its leaf. Tortoise, though still measured in his ways, could not help but enjoy the attention, retelling the story often, though with each retelling, the details grew more dramatic. Hyena, watching from the shadows, grew ever more bitter. In time, he sowed seeds of doubt among the mighty. He whispered to Lion and Elephant that Tortoise's victory threatened their authority, that if the Baobab truly favored him, their own power would wither. He painted visions of a future where the small one ruled through deceit, and his words infected them with unease. Together, they formed a plot to expose him. One evening, they cornered Tortoise beneath the Baobab. They placed him at its base and demanded that he climb it with his own strength, without aid, to prove that he had not deceived them. The crowd of animals gathered again, anticipation thick in the air. Hyena watched from the edge, delighting in what he thought would be Tortoise's downfall.
Tortoise gazed up at the tree. The trunk stretched impossibly high, as it always had. He lowered his head and stood still, as though in deep thought. The animals grew restless, certain his silence proved guilt. But then the Baobab stirred once more. A deep groaning sound echoed through its trunk, and with a rumble, the base of the tree opened. A hollow appeared, glowing with golden light, and from within poured a wind filled with the voices of ancestors, ancient and solemn. The animals trembled in awe. The voices spoke in no language of sound, yet all understood their meaning. The message was clear. True greatness lay not in strength, speed or cunning alone, but in humility, respect, and patience. These were the qualities Tortoise had shown, and for this reason, the Baobab had chosen him.
The light faded, the tree sealed, and the plains fell into silence. Lion bowed in shame. Elephant lowered her tusks, and even hyena shrank into the shadows, his schemes undone. Tortoise, small and unassuming, remained at the center of it all, bathed in the afterglow of the baobab's revelation. From that day onward, no creature dared quarrel before the baobab. The memory of his judgment lingered in their hearts, a lesson etched deeper than any claw mark. Strength, speed, and cunning had their place, but without humility and respect, they meant nothing. Tortoise returned to his quiet life, avoiding pride, never demanding more than his share, but forever remembered as the one who had listened while others shouted. And the baobab still stands, rooted in earth and sky, whispering through the winds a truth as enduring as time itself. Greatness is not measured by might, but by humility.
My dear ones, this is where our story ends for now. But tell me, what did your heart feel as you listened? Share your thoughts in the comment, You know Grandma loves to hear from you. And don't forget, press that subscribe button, like the story, and ring the little bell so that every time I come back here, you will be the first to join me. Until then, may your paths be safe, fruitful, and peaceful. Remember, keep your heart warm, your spirit curious and kind.